So this next clip you're going to see is me speaking, doing cancer killers in Green Bay, Wisconsin. This was one of the #1 cancer killers of the year last year. And so I want you to watch this, pay attention. It's going to get you motivated and inspired, so you don't want to miss the upcoming event.
So what if everything you thought about cancer was wrong? What if everything your doctors and your oncologists thought about cancer was wrong? In the next hour and 15 minutes, I want to take you on a journey. And in this journey, I want to show you not only what causes cancer, I want to show you that the only cure for cancer is getting to the cause. One Sunday, a little old man and woman were driving. They drive every Sunday. They go for a ride. And they're in their 80s. And they pulled up to this gas station. And they always pull up to the same gas station because it's a full service, very few left. And the little old man asked the attendant, he said, "Can you please clean the windows?" And the attendant said, "Absolutely." And he went over and he cleaned his window. And the little old man, he looked over at his wife and he said, "I don't think that window's clean. I'm going to ask him to do it again." And she said, "Oh, okay." And so he said, "Hey, can you please clean the window again? It's just not clean." So the tenant said, "No problem." Went over there, cleaned his window again. He got done with it. The old man said again, looked at his wife and said, "It's still dirty." And his wife's like, "Oh my God." So he went over one more time and he said, "Please, my window is still dirty. Can you please clean my window?" So instead of cleaning the window this time, he reached his hands into the window. He grabbed the guy's glasses off. He wiped his glasses off, put them back on his face, and he said, the old man said, "Now that window's clean." That filter that he was seeing through his window was dirty. That same filter is the same way you see the world, some of you. Is your filter dirty or is your filter clean? Your filter determines your perception, and your perception determines your action. How you see the world, how you see cancer, how you see disease, like Dr. Patrick said, how you see hormones will completely change the way you take actions. And so, how would you see this? How would you see this? If you were laying in a hospital bed and those doctors walk in your room and tell you, you not only have a stage 4 cancer spread to your brain, it's all over your body. You have weeks to live. There's no hope. There's no cure. How would you see it? What would your perception be in that moment? Would you see it as a gift, or would you see it as a curse? Would you see it as a blessing, or would you see it as the worst thing that could ever happen to you? Would you see it as a setback or a setup for the most amazing life and amazing gifts God could ever give you? How you see the world, how you see your cancer, how you see your disease will completely change your life. I promise you. So this was the day they diagnosed me. And they walked in the room and said, "There's no hope. There's no cure. It's in your brain. It's all over your body." And in that moment, I had that choice. In that moment, my life began to change. At the time, I said, we had 3 kids. I was great where we were. And at the time, I said, I'm not only going to make it through this, I said, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have another child. I just decided that life is way too important, that I want to have more children. But what they were telling me is I had no hope. I had no cure. There was nothing I could do. I had weeks to live. And so I made a decision. Your life's made in your moment of decision. Your life's made in the moment of decision. It was in this decision right here. This is the day that I got out. I had a choice. I could go over here, what was called Prentice, which was their chemo ward, radiation ward, do a bone marrow transplant. They said it would buy me time. Or I could take the road that I don't know where I'm going yet, right? So I could buy a little bit of time here, maybe live longer than a few weeks, or I could go over here. And obviously, I chose a different road. I knew in that moment I was sick. I was 118 pounds, lost over 50 pounds in a wheelchair, could barely walk or move. And at that time, I knew you couldn't make me sicker to make me healthier. I was sick. I knew that you couldn't put more toxins in me. I knew that the key to health wasn't putting poison in my body. That's where I was. So I made a decision to leave. I made a decision to go figure out exactly what cancer is, exactly then how am I going to reverse it. So because if you know what something is, you have a better chance at reversing it. So I left there, obviously left chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery, and a year and a half later, I delivered my 4th child at home in the bathroom. Right? That gift would not be here if it wasn't for that moment. If it wasn't for that diagnosis, what the devil did for evil, God did for good. So now it was time to figure out, how did I get there? How did I even get there a year and a half later? How did I get here 5 years later and 5.5 when most people would never make it? So how did I get there? So to never get cancer or to reverse cancer, you have to know what it is. You have to know what cancer is. So what is cancer exactly? Most people, when you're diagnosed with cancer, you freak out. When you're diagnosed with cancer, you think it's over and it's the end, no matter where you're at. I have patients in stage 1. I have patients in stage 4. And so when you know what it is and understand what it is, you start to relax. That cancer can't kill you. It's in my book, all the science behind it. Unless that cancer was big enough to block one of your organs, shut down your brainstem where I was at, and it took years to get that way, cancer's not going to kill you. Cancer's not your enemy. It's there to help you survive. It's there to help you. You want to get rid of it, but you have to see it completely different. So what is it? Your body's made up of trillions of cells. Every single one of you sitting here is made up between 50, 60, 70 trillion cells. Some of you more, some of you less. You get that. So the point is, every cell of your body dies. It has a cell life. It has a life cycle. It dies. It's called apoptosis. Every cell of your body is genetically programmed to grow and die, grow and die, grow and die. But when these cells no longer die, that's called cancer. And so you have one cell that just isn't dying anymore, and then 2 cells, mirror image, then 4 cells, then 8 cells, then 16, and then it keeps going and going and going. That's all cancer is. It's all cancer is. There's nothing about it that's going to kill you. If I took it out and had it in front of you and show it to you, it's not going to kill you. What we want to figure out today is what causes it. Something caused it. As I was laying in that hospital bed, something caused my normal, healthy cells to move into cancer cells. Something caused my immune system to no longer take control and balance this out and kill this. Something caused this. And if I can figure out what caused this, if I can figure out what cancer is, I can reverse this. And so cancer doesn't make you sick. I know this is hard for some of you. You go, no, you haven't seen my sister. You haven't seen my aunt. You haven't seen my best friend. They're sick. It's not the cancer making them sick. You've been sick for years, then you get cancer. Does that make sense? You've been sick for years, then you get cancer. If I just get rid of your cancer, thank God there's that ability to do that. Chemotherapy, radiation, surgery, even intravenous stuff and all those other things. If I just killed it even naturally, what are you still? You're still sick. Now, what if I decide to use chemotherapy, radiation, surgery? Thank God the cancer's gone, but now you're more sick. So we got to figure out what made you sick. We got to figure out what caused this cancer to develop in the first place. What caused you to get sick? The flu doesn't make you sick. If the flu made us sick, every one of you would be sick all the time because everybody around you has the flu. No matter where you go, somebody's got it. It's your weak body, your sick body that allows that virus to grow. Does everybody get that? So if I just kill the flu, you're still sick. You don't just wake up one day and get diabetes. You've been sick for years, eating horrible, then you get diabetes. I had a cancer patient who came in last week, and she said, oh, I'm type 2 diabetic. And she must have said it 6 times during the cancer consult. And I said, please quit saying you're type 2 diabetic and tell me what you really are. She goes, what do you mean? Here's what I want you to say. You can never say type 2 diabetes. You need to say, I eat too much sugar, I won't stop eating sugar, and you can't make me stop eating sugar. That's what diabetes is. And when you finally admit what you have, now we can actually fix that. You can't stay in denial and keep labeling yourself, I have cancer or not. No, you have a body that's sick. You have an immune system that's weak, and your body no longer can fight this. Your body, the cancer is adapting. It's keeping you alive. It's adapting to the environment it's in. Your cells always respond to their environment. They always respond to their environment. Your cells respond to the environment. So if I came at you in the front row here, if I came at you with a knife, immediately what happens to your blood pressure? Does it go up or down? It goes up. Good or bad? Very good. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to get up and kill me, and I would kill you, right? Dr. Flynn talked about it. If your testosterone, men, as you get older, does your testosterone go up or down usually? It goes down, and as your testosterone goes down, what do you think your body has to raise to compensate? Remember, Dr. Flynn talks about it all the time. What does your body need to make every hormone? Cholesterol. So men, as your testosterone is coming down because you aren't getting control of it, what's going to start raising to keep your cholesterol? Is that good or bad? Every symptom is the body doing the right thing at the right time. And your body's powerful, your body's amazing, and it knows what it's doing. So what we need to figure out today is, how did this happen? Cancer is a survival mechanism. The body is powerful. The body is amazing. It would never make any mistakes. Trust me on that. You are made up of over 70 trillion cells in your body. And I'm going to tell you how powerful the human body is and that God made no mistakes. If I took out every bit of DNA in your cells, it's wound up so tight that if I lined it end to end, it would go to Pluto and back. That's how much DNA is in your body. You have 60,000 miles of blood vessels in your body. It would go around the earth 2.5 times in your body. You have so much stomach acid. The stomach acid is at such a perfect pH that it actually kills off your stomach lining, and every 3 or 4 days you get a new stomach. And if there was too much pH or too less pH, you'd be dead. Because your body either would kill you fast, the acid, or you wouldn't be able to break your foods down. The body is so smart in its wisdom that your heart pumps enough energy in one day to actually fuel a truck and give it enough energy to go 20 miles. That's how powerful you are. And you think that cancer is a mistake? You think your blood pressure is a mistake? You think these things are a mistake? It's the body doing the right thing at the right time to compensate or adapt to the environment it's in. Your cells will always adapt to their environment. Always adapt to their environment. So here's how it works. We have a normal, healthy cell. I'm going to use the example of my hand. If I go to the gym and I work out and I damage my hand, or you're a mechanic and you're just using your hands and damaging the skin and damaging the skin and damaging the skin, what's going to show up there eventually? A callus. That's a callus right there. Is my body doing the wrong thing at the wrong time? Is my body dumb? What's it doing in that moment? It's what? Say that. Somebody said it over here. I've never had an audience that didn't say it. You understand that the cells will always adapt to the environment. The environment is damaging. So what happens? My cells have to move into the next layer of cells, which is a callus. If you damage your colon over and over and over, and you're eating foods and you're not getting testing with Dr. Flynn, and you're eating foods that you're sensitive to and not know it, and you're damaging your colon, and you're taking acid reflux drugs, and you're not breaking your foods down, you don't eat raw foods, you don't get your enzymes, and all these foods and all these enzymes or all these other dangerous toxins go into your gut. Finally, you keep damaging the digestive system, damaging the colon. Eventually, what shows up? A polyp. I can cut the polyp out, I can cut your callus off. But if I go back to the gym and I keep working out, if I keep eating and living the lifestyle, what's going to show back up again? Another polyp, right? Another polyp. And then I keep damaging an area, I keep damaging an area, I keep damaging an area. I move into the next layer of cells, which is like an ulcer. An ulcer is considered a metaplastic cell. It took time for this to happen. You've damaged it and damaged it and damaged it. H. pylori, for example, is one of the major causes of ulcers. Why? Because H. pylori is a bacteria. And when there's a bacteria that's sitting in your stomach, your brain recognizes it, and what does your brain want to do with that bacteria? It wants to get rid of it, so it sends an immune response. So it's sending inflammation after inflammation after inflammation after inflammation to your stomach, creating what? Damage, damage, damage. So now the person goes into an ulcer. The doctors just give them drugs, don't fix anything. They keep damaging their stomach, and now they end up with what? Stomach cancer. Right? You keep damaging the colon, you keep damaging the colon, you keep damaging the colon. All you do is remove the polyp, you end up with what? Colon cancer. Women, you get your first abnormal pap smear, you have these dysplasia cells. Any women ever had, or somebody you know has had dysplastic cells? They cut those cells off of there, but then what happens as you keep damaging the area and damaging the area? More of those cells come back. And if those cells, if you don't find out what's causing that, and you just keep getting rid of those cells, what happens? You end up in the next layer of cells, which is neoplastic. And all you do is take your drugs, do your surgeries, keep covering up your symptoms, never get to the cause. Now you end up finally in what? Everybody say it? Cancer. Everybody sees that now? Cancer is when the cells have been damaged, have been damaged, have been damaged, and have been damaged. And now, are these cells responding to the environment or not? Your cells always respond to your environment. When you change the environment, you change what? You change the cells.
So for more information, to find out more videos like you're watching here, go to www.maximizeliving.com.
My name is Dr. Mark Supernaut, and with me today is Jamie Freer, who is a chiropractic student and doctor-to-be. And what was really interesting when I had a chance to talk to Jamie is her past career and what she did and what she got a chance to see. So Jamie, what was your past career? I know you were in nursing, but what exactly did you do and where were you at?
I worked as a nurse for 10 years in an oncology unit in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Okay, and so when you were there, you know, you're telling me about some of the stories that you saw in the oncology department, like you saw with patients and everything like that. So, I mean, obviously, it was a fulfilling job from a standpoint that you were able to help people. But what were the things that you saw there, or what are some things that you experienced that made you just say, hey, look, I can't do this anymore?
Okay. Well, one of the reasons I came into nursing was to help people. My biggest passion in life is to help people and help see them get well. As the nursing profession for me progressed, it didn't feel like that's what I was doing anymore. I was watching patients get diagnosed with cancer and, you know, watching them go through the whole medical model, watching them get the diagnosis, the care plans of chemo, radiation, surgery, whatever, and then also watching those medical treatments not work for them.
You know, so what specifically, so you saw like obviously the chemo, the radiation, you saw some of this stuff, and I know you said that you had an opportunity, the hospital was going to actually pay for you to go get further schooling, but you kind of declined that. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Sure. One of the things as a chemo nurse, you're obviously administering the chemo medications, and obviously it's a toxin, it's supposed to kill the cancer, and as a nurse or as a human that's healthy, you're supposed to take all of these parameters such as double gloving, double gowning, making sure that you get rid of the chemo in different manners. So, you know, to me, it just stuck with me that it wasn't what was right. I mean, if I'm not allowed to touch it, how am I supposed to hang it on an IV pole and administer it to a patient who's already sick and not thriving?
So what age groups did you see? Did you see kids? Did you see adults? Did you see all kinds of different ranges? And in particular, do you remember like any certain patients, like any families in particular that came through that you're just kind of like, just broke your heart to see that this is the end of the line for them, or they were like, there was no hope and they were just putting all their trust and faith in this chemicals that they were putting in their body? Sure.
I mean, we saw, we didn't see pediatric patients. We saw patients 18 and above. So we saw patients from the ages of 18 to 100. The different families that we were involved in, as the chemo nurse and as the nurse on the unit, we ended up becoming their families. So it wasn't just we were seeing the patients. We got to interact with these families, celebrate birthdays, Christmases, and holidays with them. And it became really difficult just because you were basically joining in on this family and you knew their life wasn't going to last. It was an emotional roller coaster because you were taking care of a patient that you thought was thriving, living well, and then they would get that diagnosis, and you saw the glimmer of hope that was in their life, and it was just shattered. You saw the families' lives being shattered, and you knew that there was nothing that you could do because you knew the effects of chemo, the radiation. You watched your patient go from a living human being working to a person that you're holding their hand as they took their last breath.
And these are, normal people walking into your hospital, I'm sure, and your
Absolutely.
ward, because it's like, these are people that, I know that there's people that are listening right now that are thinking, hey, look, cancer, it's sad that it happens to people. I know it happens to a lot of people, but it's not going to happen to me, is what I get from a lot of my patients that have cancer. And I'm like, I ask them that question all the time, did you ever think it was going to be you? And everybody, of course, says, no way, it's never going to happen to me. They thought it was never going to happen to them, but then here they are with full-blown cancer. So I'm sure you had conversations with these people along the way that you're just kind of like, how did you guys end up here? And
Sure.
they're probably asking that question. Did you have any of those particular?
Sure. Maybe you would have just a typical patient come in with a cough and you thought that you were diagnosing them with pneumonia and the typical 3-day stay, and the x-ray would show that there's a mass. They would go through the biopsies and find out that in fact they had whatever stage cancer. And so it was a shock to us as the staff, because like I said, you weren't prepared for those cancer diagnoses, and you were there with those patients along with those diagnoses.
So as you're seeing this stuff, as you're going through this stuff, at what point in time was it just like it clicked for you that you're just kind of like, I've got to get out of this and I've got to go do something completely different? What point was that for you?
I think it was just seeing enough was enough. I don't have a specific day where I woke up and said, I'm not doing this anymore, because I was really there for the patients, and I made sure that my care revolved around the people. But it was just a nagging voice that I heard on a daily basis that this wasn't right.
Yeah. So now, obviously you were making good money and you had a family, and now it's like, now it's time to leave this and go to, what you did is end up coming to chiropractic school then. So, it had to be one of the toughest decisions you guys have made as a family, obviously, because you're making good money, you got a family, but you're like, I just can't do this anymore. So why did you choose chiropractic then?
Well, we got involved in a chiropractic office, and we just saw, I don't want to say miracles, but we saw a lot of changes with my son. My son was on the autism spectrum. We were actively going through different routes with different medical doctors, trying to figure out, was it autism, was it hearing issues, was it speech issues, just going through the whole gamut of tests and procedures.
Symptom care.
Yes.
Yeah.
And once we started chiropractic care, our son came out of the bubble and he was 3 years old, wasn't able to communicate with us, had a huge vocabulary, but none of it made sense. So just seeing, it was almost like a light bulb went off in his head, and seeing him come from this child that couldn't speak, couldn't communicate, to a child that was just like any other, it felt like that was my calling. I needed to be able to do that for other people.
So I know, and I have lots of patients that come to my office that they have friends that have kids that are autism spectrum, or they have cancers in kids, or whatever it is, and they're trying to get their family members, their friends, that are in the medical community even too, but just anywhere, trying to get them over to the office. So what was it that they obviously said to you to finally get you over there with your son to say, yeah, you know what, we'll go get him checked out by a chiropractor, even though this seems kind of different or weird for me to go as a nurse to a chiropractor for these things?
Well, we actually, we had my son, he had the tubes, tonsils, and adenoids, and I had a 24-hour period where we brought him home from the hospital. He wasn't eating, he wasn't sleeping, and I had this list of stuff that I was supposed to complete as the caregiver. And being a nurse, and it's different when it's your own family member. But I remember calling my brother-in-law, who is a chiropractor, and he just told me, like, look, I made an appointment for you. Please take him in and we went from there.
That's cool. Sometimes it just takes that much. Just go make the appointment for you. So,
Yeah.
so you go off to chiropractic school, you start learning, you get involved with maximized living, and now you get a chance to mingle with people that have seen patients completely lives transformed, cancer killers. You get a chance to meet Dr. Charles Majors, the author of Cancer Killers, and the guy that actually went through this thing. So, knowing what you know now, if you could put yourself back to when you were back in the nurse days, what would you love to? If you walked into that old place where you used to work, what would you want to tell all those people there?
Just to leave, just to explain to them that there are other options out there. You don't have to listen to just that one opinion, that one care plan, that one opportunity that's out in front of you. That you need to go get your spine checked. You need to go get involved with an office that teaches what true health and healing is, and just go from there.
And I think that's kind of great. I mean, you say that, and I think one of the things that just kind of came to me when Dr. Majors went through his diagnosis and everything is that most people think that you get cancer and then you become sick. And so I get patients that come into my office that say, I just want to get on this side of cancer. But the reality is that you were sick first, then you got cancer diagnosis. And so the problem is that most people and most conventional methods is, let's just get you on this side of the cancer. And then they don't do nothing about it. So whether you're choosing to do conventional method or whether you're choosing to do all natural, whatever it is, you have to deal with the part that got you sick in the first place, that allowed cancer to thrive in your body. And so it's no longer, no matter if you do conventional or you do unconventional, we've got to get you back on this side of not only just not having cancer, but we need to get you to the point where your body's not sick anymore. And that's probably the biggest thing that I've learned over the course of years, just being able to travel with Dr. Majors and be able to see all this kind of stuff. But Jamie, thank you for your story. I just appreciate that because it's cool to see both sides of it. And sometimes people think that the medical doctors and chiropractors are fighting, but I mean, in my office, and I'm sure that you could probably say this too, is that it doesn't have to be a fighting thing. It's just really us trying to get people better, trying to get people well.
Sure.
Anything to add?
I don't know.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Let's say your body is unhealthy and you grow brown grass and you develop a tumor and you go in and you cut out the sod, but you never got off the hose. Guess what? You're still what? You're still sick. So to say, okay, we got it all, we cut out the tumor, come back in 6 months, we'll check you again, and you don't change any part of your life that caused you to grow that tumor to begin with, guess what's going to happen? It's going to come back, just like my friend Jim, just like people out here on their 4th round of cancer, their 3rd time through. The doctors told them they got it all the first time, and then it came back. Took it to the next time, it came back. I don't have the research now, but there's a doctor friend of mine who's a patient who had the preventive mastectomy. And guess what? The cancer came back again because they didn't get her healthy. There's 3 things about cancer I want you to know. First of all, stop making it. That's what I'm going to show you today. Number 2 is if you have it, find a way to kill it and get rid of it in a way that doesn't kill you. Okay? I don't care if it's medical. I don't care if it's natural. Whatever it is, you got to kill it. But then once you do that, then you got to boot up your immune system again and get healthy again and get back to green grass. So everything I'm going to teach you today is focused about getting you back to green grass. I'm not here to tell you what to do, what not to do. I'm not going to step on anybody's doctor's toes or nurse's toes. But bottom line is you need to get back to green grass. Can I get an amen? Okay. So P53 gene, right? Again, genes, like my nice genes my daughter picked out for me here, okay? My wife likes them. That's all that matters. It's your P53 gene that keeps the cells happy. And then when that gene begins to shut down, it's not there to do its job, that's when cells become cancerous. So it's your P53 gene. Everybody say P53. When it's not activated, cells don't die. That's not good because when cells don't die, they grow into cancer. These cells then develop cancer. But here's the thing, okay? Here's a crazy question. Did the police officer shoot anyone at your school today? Not that I know of. Why did he or she not have to shoot anybody? Because the environment didn't need it, right? But when would you like that officer to shoot somebody? When? When it becomes dangerous, right? That's how your genes are. When you're green grass, those bad genes they tell you about, those markers, BRAC, whatever they call them, they don't get turned on. You may have them, but they're not working against you right now because you're healthy. You're green grass. But the minute your lifestyle, how you live, see the thing about cancer, the thing is about you grew this. It's yours. You own it. It's your responsibility. That may hurt your feelings, But Dr. Major says, if I made this, then I can fix it. This is my responsibility. I'm not putting a responsibility on doctors to fix me. I'm not putting a responsibility on my spouse to fix me and feel sorry for me. This is my thing. I grew this. And for some of you, that's the first thing you need to hear and the only thing you need to hear. This is your responsibility. I didn't put that Big Mac in your mouth. I didn't make you lay on the couch and not work out. I didn't make you too busy that you couldn't take care of yourself. Women, don't quit putting yourself last. We're not asking you to put yourself last so that your kids can have a life, okay? Those are all things that lead to you becoming brown grass. So, vitamin D3 is a major thing at keeping your P53 healthy so that it doesn't have to let your body form cancer. So one thing, one vitamin, one nutrition thing you could use is get your vitamin D levels above 70. I'll explain why in a minute. But here's what this research, Joanne Welch did. She did research for the last 10 years on vitamin D3. When she put vitamin D3 on cancer cells, within a few days, half the cancer cells shriveled up and died. The vitamin has the same effect as a drug used for breast cancer treatment. Now, has anybody ever told you that, as far as your doctors, your nurses, your nutritionists, your chiropractors, your massage therapists, about vitamin D? They haven't told you that, but it's right there. It's so simple. This is not rocket science. Some of you think it's going to be a 15-mile run to get healthy, and I'm telling you, it's a half-a-mile walk. It's a half-a-mile walk. Again, if I give you the right map of Colorado and ask you to find Denver, who could find it? Every one of you could. So that means every one of you can become green grass if you want to. It's your choice. It's your choice. Again, this chart talks about how studies of individuals with cancer, breast cancer, ovarian cancer, colon cancer, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, type 1 diabetes, fractures, falls in women, multiple sclerosis, heart attacks, kidney cancer, endometrial cancers, rickets. Okay? When you get your blood test, they say 30 to 100 is normal. Okay? Well, here's the thing. They don't tell you is that 70 to 100 is actually a protective effect. If it's 30, then you don't get rickets. Yahoo, okay? If it's above 56, then you get protected from all these things. So we want all our blood levels to be above 70 so that we have protection so that P53 gene can do its job and keep your body from growing cancer. Does that make sense? Or turning brown grass. You got that? Just one thing. Dr. Joe, what's one vitamin I should be taking? Vitamin D3. Why? Because it's going to help make your body on the inside green grass. Okay, because if you're deficient, again, interference kills. I'm interfering with the water going into the grass. That's what's killing it. I don't say it to scare you. I'm just simply saying that's just what it happens, right? Deficiency kills. So if you're deficient in levels of vitamin D3, which you get from the sun most times, it's a hormone, those levels go down, the bad genes get turned on, and your body begins to react to that deficiency. Does that make sense? Okay, good. All right. What else happens to you if you have low levels of vitamin D3? Not D1, D2, D3, the one your body can recognize and process. Cardiovascular, cholesterol, blood pressure levels, immune system. Come on back here. Okay? Kidney function, muscle strength, healthy teeth and bones. Now, think about it. These are all different parts of the body, right? But when you affect one area, again, it affects the whole yard, and the whole yard goes brown grass. But when you put that in the the whole body gets green grass. See, I don't treat cancer with vitamin D3. Cancer is the brown grass. It needs to be watered. One of the things we do with our family is we get enough levels of vitamin D3 in us so that everything is healthy, not just to kill cancer, but everything is healthy. That's about health. When you do one thing right, it affects everything. When you do one thing right, it has a multiplication effect in your entire body, okay? When you exercise, your lungs just don't get healthy. Your waist size doesn't just shrink. Everything gets better. Is that good? Is that good news? Good, okay. So that's why we have vitamin D3 here today. If you don't have any, get some. It's 15% off. The reason why I like ours, we had to make ours because we knew we wanted high vitamin D levels, but nothing was working. We couldn't figure out why until we found out we had people who were taking a lot of probiotics, and they took vitamin D3 with it, and the probiotics helped open up the gut and heal the gut so that the vitamin D3 could get in and the body could absorb it. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But so we have fruits and vegetables in ours. We have 1 billion CFU probiotics in it and 5,000 IUs. Sometimes you don't take enough. So we test people to make sure they're getting enough. Some people need 5,000. Children can take 5,000 IUs and just be fine, okay? You take 10,000 a day. You want to make sure you get enough. You want to get that level up to 70, okay? That's why we love this. Now, 3 steps to preventing and reversing cancer. 3 steps to getting you from brown grass to green grass. Because here's the thing. Hello, my name is Dr. Joe Arve. I have cancer. You have cancer. We all have cancer. Every person in this room, because you're a human, has somewhere between 150 to a couple of thousand cancer cells in your body, right? But every day, because you're healthy, you stay at green grass and your immune system kills the cancer cells. It's not a big deal. Don't let anybody ever tell you you're cancer-free. You're not. What it means is you're off the radar, you're off the medical testing, and it's not there. But the minute you eat sugar, sugar feeds cancer. That's why they do PET scans. Don't let anybody tell you that nutrition doesn't matter, because they use PET scans, they give you radioactive sugar, and boom, there's the cancer, lit up all nice and pretty, right? So the thing is that we all have cancer. So don't say it's not going to happen to me. You already have it. But the thing is that your body knows how to kill it too if it's healthy. And so the first thing is stop making it by getting to the cause. That's what we're all about today. Number 2 is specifically and safely kill the cancer. And number 3, rebuild and strengthen your immune system. As you do that, that's what happens. That's how you do it. So step 1, make sure you water your grass. Step 2, if you notice your grass dying, then get off the hose and start watering it again. Or cut up the dead sod and put new sod down, right? And step 3, don't let anybody get on your hose anymore, right? So you can keep your body green grass, keep your grass green. Now, is this making sense, or have I lost anybody? Amen? I mean, I know you're like, this is so simple. I know. Here's the thing. And I'm getting over, if I cut your arm right now, what will it do? Bleed. And then what will it do after that? It'll heal. So if I cut your arm and that heals, and you have cancer, guess what? The same power that heals that cut, same power that's healing that cancer, if it can get there, okay? Again, get into the cause. Even Dr. Oz says, microscopic tumor grows 16 times its original size as little as 2 weeks. We all have cancer, but we can't let it get out of control, okay? You can refers to these cancer cells as cancer without disease. Again, you have it in you, right? Okay, you have it in you. So again, cancer cells double every 90 days. So at 90 days, you have 2 cells. Then 1 year, 16 cells. Then 2 years, 256 cells. 3 years, 4,800. 4 years, 65,000. 5 years, 1 million. 6 years, 16 million. 7 years, 268 million. 8 years, 4 billion. So again, green grass, green grass, green grass, green grass, green grass. How are you feeling during this time? But if you knew it was growing in you, when would you want to stop it? If you knew I was on the hose, when would you want me to get off of it? Right away, okay? But, well, we see a little bit of abnormal activity. I'll come back in 6 months and we'll see how you are. Boom, you've been diagnosed. Boom, it's worse. Now it's full blown right there. It took 8 years to get there though, folks. Right now, you haven't learned how to look for it here. That's what we do. We look for it here, not wait for it to get there. Is that okay? I use the dipstick to find out how you're doing, not wait till the oil light comes on. Because the oil light, you just keep driving the car, the oil light on, that's when it happens. So cells are normally detectable by mammogram at this stage. At a doubling 40 times in 10 years, cancer is considered lethal. So how do you kill cancer? You got to starve it. Everybody say starve it. You got to starve it. How do you do that? How you choke it, you know what I'm saying? The thing is first of all, you have to eliminate all sugars. I'll show you how, okay? You cut off cancer's blood supply by anti-angiogenesis. That's a big word, right? A lot of medications they're using for cancer today are anti-angiogenic. But you know what else is anti-angiogenic? Vegetables, good fats, food the way God made it, exercise, good nerve supply, have anti-angiogenic, which means the cells do what they're supposed to do because they're healthy green grass, okay? Fix the environment. Go from acidic to alkaline. Induce cell death through epigenetic manipulation. Ooh, that sounds painful. Mrs. Jones, we're going to epigenetically manipulate you. That just means change your thinking. As a man thinks, or as a woman thinks. As a man thinks he is. As a woman thinks about him, he is also, okay? I told a buddy of mine the other day, if your wife thinks you're out late because you're drinking, having fun, guess what? You might as well just admit to it whether you were or not, because that's what she thinks, that's what it is. Where's my wife at? Is she in here? She's not in here. Okay. Correct nutritional deficiencies. Get off the hose, start eating food that get you back to green grass. Employ cytotoxic botanical compounds to kill cancer cells. Hey, that means take some vitamins at work and then get rid of your inflammation. Let me show you what that looks like. This is a cancer cell, and you're going to see it go bye-bye. Okay? You're going to see it go bye-bye. So can your body kill cancer? Sure, watch it. Doop, there it is. Done. Those are white blood cells killing cancer. That's your body making green grass again. Here's another one. Cancer cell, it's different than the rest of them. It's not going to die. They say, oh, watch this. Here's another one. Turn on the water, make some green grass here. Watch it. Now you see it? Gone. It's a medical miracle. No, this is how it's supposed to be. Can we show that again one more time? I mean, this is what God put inside you. You're the cancer killer. Watch your cells, your white blood cells. Boom, 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 boom. Gone. Gone. This is you. You have the power to heal. Here's another one. Again, these look weird right here. They're not supposed to be there. Should have died 6 months ago. Oh, they're gone now. There's one more. There you go. Angiogenesis, apoptosis. Num, 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 num. Gone. Every time you follow and begin to live your life getting off the hose, that happens on a daily basis. Raise your hand if you'd like to have your body killing cancer every day with you not having to worry about it, right? Yes. And not to spend millions of dollars traveling around to Mexico and things like that trying to hope. Because, again, whether you got brown grass and they use all kinds of natural ingredients to kill the cancer, you're still sick. You still need to get healthy. It's your responsibility to learn how to live, okay?
Hey, this is Dr. Charles Majors again, best-selling author of The Cancer Killers, The Cause is the Cure. And today I have an amazing interview. I'm here with Heather, stage 3 breast cancer diagnosed in January, and I'm going to let her tell her story. So go ahead.
January 22nd, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. It's a 7.5 centimeter tumor on my left breast. When I went in for my consult,
So did you feel that? So she had 7.5 meters. Did you feel it? Did you notice that was going on?
My body felt off. I was in and out of the emergency room for a couple of weeks. Just couldn't keep anything down. Just really sick. I had a lot of chest pains, and they kind of stumbled upon the tumor, ruling other things out.
So then you went in. You were diagnosed, so you had blood tests, you had an MRI, you were diagnosed in stage 3 breast cancer. And so what did they want to do? What was the conventional approach at that time?
The conventional approach is they wanted to perform a double mastectomy on me as a preventative measure, as well as chemo and radiation to make sure that the cancer would rid my body.
Okay, so then, I'm just curious where your mindset was at that time, because I talk about that one thing I went through yesterday in a live stream video, that our metaphors are everything. That the way you see cancer will determine what treatment you go after, and the way you see it is the way you're going to respond to it. Your perception is everything. So at that moment, you're diagnosed. They tell you you're going to have a double mastectomy, cut both your breasts off, do chemo and radiation. And what did you think at that time?
I kind of just felt numb. I felt like, what else could go wrong in my life? Felt like I didn't really have any other options. I didn't know that there was another route, a healthier, holistic route to take on to this, and so I didn't know what I was going to do. I felt lost. That's it.
And that's what happens and when we're talking to thousands of people, they get diagnosed and they feel lost, and so they don't know what to do, and so there's no plan. They don't know what cancer is. There's no clue. All they think is, I have this thing that's going to kill me. It's going to eat me away. I'm going to die, and I need some heavy artillery. I'm not saying sometimes that isn't necessary, but when your mindset is that I have to survive this, and I'm about to go through a war, it's completely different. So what changed your mindset?
Well, I started working for Dr. Crystal Barnett in actually 2 weeks after I was diagnosed, and when I let her know, she gave me the Cancer Killers book and laid the protocol that is in that book out in front of me, and it gave me hope. Her confidence telling me that my body has this innate ability to heal itself, it gave me the hope and the confidence that I knew that I could push through this.
And that's powerful, because when you're first diagnosed, you think, I'm not in control of this. My body's controlling me. This cancer's controlling me. Instead of realizing that it's actually the body doing the right thing at the right time. The cells are adapting to the environment they're under. It was your fault. No offense.
It was.
I'm sorry,
it was my lifestyle.
But it's our fault. We have to change our environment. We need to change the environment that had the cells responding to that. So now you're diagnosed. You didn't decided not to do double mastectomy. You didn't do chemoradiation. You began doing the healthier protocols. So I know getting you healthy and doing all that was important. But what are some of the high-end protocols we talked about you did?
There were several cleanses: a liver cleanse, a kidney cleanse, a colon cleanse, coffee enemas. It was rough at the beginning, just trying to cleanse your body and getting you
It becomes
prepped.
a full-time job.
I mean, it really is. I had alarms set on my phone pretty much every 30 minutes to take my vitamin D3, my CoQ10, all of the supplements to just pump my body full of these nutrients so that it could do its natural ability to heal. Along with chiropractic adjustments, that was the absolute main focus of the protocol, because when that interference isn't there, your body can perform at 100% and can heal itself. As well as some vitamin C IV therapy, oxygen
Now, how often
therapy.
are you doing let's talk about the IV vitamin C's, because
Yeah.
the power of an IV vitamin C. And it's in step 2 in my book, but step 2 is going after and killing it. Step 1, you got to stop making this cancer. You got to get to the
Exactly.
causes. Step 2 is you got to go kill it. Absolutely. Whether someone's going to do chemotherapy or radiation surgery, or someone's going to do it naturally, you got to kill it. And so IV vitamin C, the way it works is cancer cells love sugar. They love sugar, and that's their preferred fuel. When vitamin C comes into the body, the cancer cell thinks it's sugar, and so what it does is it actually will bring in the vitamin C, and actually it doesn't kill the way normal vitamin C would. Normal vitamin C is an antioxidant, but at a high dose intravenously it became a pro-oxidant. So it's doing what actual chemotherapy does, but it's doing it in a safe way, protecting the other cells. So high dose vitamin C, what else?
Oxygen, the ozone therapy.
So ozone therapy. So she's bringing in more oxygen into her body. Cancer cells, remember, cancer cells love sugar, they hate oxygen. So by flooding the body with more oxygen.
And then mental tapping.
Awesome. So you're doing EFT and
Yep.
mental tapping. Mental tapping, if you read in the book, it's all about releasing emotional traumas, emotional stresses. I've never met someone with cancer that didn't have some type of emotional trauma that went on throughout their life, something that triggered them back off. And so again, cancer is a multi-system, multifactorial failure, and it wasn't one or two things, it was a combination of things.
Exactly.
So where are you at now?
At the beginning of April of this year, I went back into the oncologist's office, and he showed me the before and after pictures of the MRI and the ultrasound, and the 7.5 centimeter is completely gone.
Awesome.
It's gone. He was baffled.
Awesome. So now what's the plan? Are you done?
No, I'm not done. It is a lifelong protocol, because you don't ever want that cancer to be able to take control of your body again. So you stay on the advanced plan. You stay doing the vitamin C IV therapy, the oxygen therapy, the max T3, and the chiropractic adjustments. It's not just getting rid of it, it's keeping it gone.
Yeah, because remember, the reason why she got cancer was she was sick for years, and so she doesn't want to all of a sudden becoming sick again. And it's awesome. But and the reason why we do these, I do these interviews, and I'm down here in Atlanta right now and shooting cancer killer videos all weekend, is for one reason: to give you hope. Because once you have hope, even that little bit of hope begins to realize, you make it realize that it's possible. When you know it's possible, you'll do what it takes.
Exactly.
All right, here we are in the cleaners and laundry detergent section, and I want to let you guys know that your skin is the largest organ, and so what you put in it, what you put on it, it's just like eating it. And so with all of the options that we have now, there's no reason to be using those toxic products. They're harmful, harmful, harmful to your health. So you can see, we have a wide array of different cleaners and laundry detergents. So you want to be looking for things with non-toxic ingredients. And guys, these things are extremely toxic. We're not talking just a little bit. And so spend the extra money. A lot of them are concentrated, so you actually save money by that, and it saves the environments because of the packaging. So again, it's so critically important. We have to start removing these toxins. Again, something like dishwashing detergent. When you're washing your dishes and they're heating up, and that steam that comes out of the dishwasher, that's literally penetrating your entire house. And those are toxic fumes, toxic to you, toxic to your kids, toxic to your pets. And so go with something more natural. It will go do amazing things for you in the long run. Another thing that I want to show are the personal care products that we use. Just like the cleaning supplies, you definitely want to be careful with what you're putting in and on your body. So things like soaps and shampoos and makeups and all of those things, toothpaste as well. You want to be looking for things that are paraben-free, not a lot of harmful, toxic items. And so you may have to do your research and find out for sure. But again, most of the grocery stores have sections like this where you'll be able to find more organic and less toxic items, because again, these are all things that we're putting in and on our bodies, and we want to make sure that we are not exposing ourselves to unnecessary toxins. So again, just be diligent. Don't just go to the same products that you've always used. You may have to do some research online. Your Maximize Living doctor can help you because they've probably already researched because they use the products themselves. So just be careful and beware. And be happy that your grocery stores are carrying more and more things. And guess what? We vote with our dollars. And so the more things you buy, the more that they'll carry.
All right, so now, lights. Good. Check this out. This is going to be so great for you guys to see. So this, he'll describe this a little bit, but this is your killer T cell. Everybody say killer. This is your killer T cell.
The green cell you see here is a killer T cell of the immune system, which is attacking the cancerous red and blue cell.
It's eating it.
You can tell when the killer cell has recognized the cancer cell because the two dots move around and contact the target.
Do you see it eating it and going inside of it?
The killer cell then spreads out over the cancerous cell.
Poor little cancer cell.
Passing the video through a filter makes the killer cell look yellow and allows us to really see how it focuses on the cancer cell. These killer T cells are constantly hunting down dangerous cells throughout the body and destroying them.
All right, lights. So just so you know, in your body right now, you're killing cancer as you're sitting there. And by the time I'm done with you laughing and being emotional, the snack packs that you get, they're cancer-killing foods that are in appropriate nutritional amounts, fat and ratios and minerals, all the rest. So by you getting those snack packs, you're going to be killing cancer and turning on your killer T cells like you've never seen before. In fact, if I had more time, I'd show you more and more videos like that so you could see one of those killer T cells coming up against not one little cell of cancer, but a big wall of a huge tumor, and it's all by its little old T killer cell self. And he goes like this, "Come on, everybody," and he uses the nerve supply, and then hundreds of thousands of these T killer cells just go zoom, and they just start devouring this entire tumor, and they wall it off and they kill it. By the time that I got through showing you all these videos, you would go, how in the world could any of us even get cancer? It'd be impossible. I don't see how you get cancer when you got these things running around and beating up on these little cancer cells all the time. There's only one way. It's because your body that's supposed to do that is not working right. And I'm going to show you exactly how to get it back working right so you don't have to worry about this. Got it? Okay. This is one of the ways. So what causes it? Well, toxicity in your thinking, okay? Deficiency in your nerve supply. Toxicity or deficiency in your nutrients. And we can go either way on that. How about lack of deficiency in oxygen and lean muscle, okay? Or, I love it, toxicity is toxicity. I didn't know what else to put in there. But these are essentials, and you have interruption in this. I can take about any single cancer patient, and again, I don't treat cancer, so I'm not a cancer doctor. The only cancer patients I get are ones that have been and they spent $300,000. People go, well, there's nothing else we can do, maybe go see somebody natural now. Right? That's generally the only ones I see, unless people start out going, listen, I'm never doing the conventional route, I'm not going to walk in there, I'm going to see you first. So I don't profess to treat cancer with all the rest, but if you see this, if I can remove interference to your body being healthy and get your body healthy again, then what should happen to your body's ability to heal cancer? It should be what? Higher and higher. Does that make sense? It's not rocket science. If it was, I wouldn't do it. But let's start with this. So 6 essentials of every cell, okay? So there's 5 essentials, but there's 6 essentials of every cell. You got to have amino acids. You got to have antioxidants, fatty acids, live enzymes, vitamins, minerals, trace minerals. So I want you to think about it like this. If I'm going to give you a recipe, okay? So I'm going to give Steve a recipe. Here's the recipe. He takes it home, he makes sure all the ingredients are in the mixing bowl, mixes them up, puts them in the pan, puts it in the oven for the right temperature. If he follows the recipe perfectly, that recipe will come out how good? Really good. Really good, and it'll taste great. You are the mixing bowl and you're the oven. if your body is working right in every area, and we'll talk about function later, but if it's working right, all you got to do is put the right ingredients in, and you don't have to think about it, right? And you get rid of what you shouldn't have, you get rid of what you need, or you use what you need, and guess what? Your body comes out of the, quote, oven with health that you want. But if you put ingredients that aren't on the list in there, guess what? It doesn't quite come out the way that you want it. You ever had a recipe come out and you're like, that's something tangy or something, that's not right. Same thing with health if you put things in there it shouldn't be. Or if I leave some of these out, could it come? You ever leave something out of a recipe and you go, it didn't even rise, or it didn't even, right? And it's like, that's not it. I know that's not what it's supposed to taste like, right? You ever had one of those? You ever had a grandma recipe? Grandma recipe is she goes, well, I don't know, I just kind of, it's a pinch of this and it's a shake of that, right? This is an exact recipe, just follow it. You guys ready? So let's go through it. First of all, you got to have essential fatty acids. Why? It's a makeup of every single cell. If I get you healthy at a cellular level, every single cell, let's say you're all cells of one body, if every single one of you was 100% healthy, how would the body be? It'd be what? 100% healthy, right? Or if I made every single individual in a town, right, it'd be a healthy town. That'd be awesome. Or a country. Let's just take it one person at a time, okay? Essential fatty acids make up the wall. I don't want to get too technical. Some of you guys are starting to get like hives. We're going back to biology again. But the double lipid bilayer, right, is just 2 layers of fat, and they're made up of essential fatty acids. Now, you need good fats to make up a good healthy wall, and a good healthy wall allows you naturally to get good stuff in and bad stuff out. Very simple. When you eat bad fats, okay, which aren't necessarily stuff like this, okay, what if I told you that you could eat butter on the advanced plan and be extremely healthy and not have cancer? Would that make it, somebody ought to amen that. Like, oh, that's the butter diet. I'm all over that butter diet. This is good stuff. But if you eat bad fats, so hydrogenated soy whatevers, or vegetable oil, canola oil, fried foods, all these things, something happens because we get oxidized fat. It's not good fat, but because it's fat, it can become part of that cellular wall. And as a result of that, guess what happens? You can't get good stuff or bad stuff. So I'm going to give you a good demonstration. Come here, Steve-O. So Steve's going to help me with something. And I've never really done this, but I've always wanted to do this. And I've never had someone brave enough till I had Steve come in the office. So I want you to face them. So he's like, I don't have to look at anybody do it. So hold on to that for me right there. Just both hands. Just like that. There you go. So basically, this would be like bad fat. Now, Steve-O is going to be the cell. Now, if I can get Steve really healthy, so smile real big, then you're really healthy, no cancer, right? But now watch this. Let's say this is a cell in your kids. And because they got really good grades one week or whatever else, we're going to take them and we're going to say, hey, listen, you got good grades. We're going to go splurge a little bit. We're going to go to McDonald's and we're going to have a little bit of French fries. We're going to have a vacation meal. This is going to be awesome. So we're going to have a little vacation meal. It's not a big deal. And so what happens is we start just rapping a little bit here. And all of a sudden, and because I love Steve, I gotta go this way here. Now, he's pretty limber, but I got a lot of stuff here. Here, like that. He's pretty good, but I got a lot, Steve. Don't you worry, baby. Here we go. There we go. You can still breathe. But what happens is, now he didn't know I was going to do this part. But what happens is, I end up going on and 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 on. And I'm just having fun. Here's the key part. I'm not poking on Steve. I'm not jabbing on him. So Steve doesn't necessarily feel pain. Does that make sense? So you guys ate the French fries or the fried food, and maybe if you're dysfunctional enough, you had a little indigestion or something, but you didn't have pain. You didn't bleed rectally or something. So you had no symptoms, no sign that this was going on. Did you get that? But now good stuff can't get, and bad stuff can't get, and we call that autointoxicity. And guess what ends up happening? He starts building what inside his cell? He starts becoming what kind of cell? Cancer cell. Did you see that? That is why you cannot live a lifestyle with all these hydrogenated fats and fried foods. It's just that simple. Does that make sense? Can I get a round of applause for Steve-O? Good. Yay, good. Now his wife's got to help him get out of there. Don't trip either. There you go. He's going to have to spend the rest of the day all wrapped up. There you go. That's awesome. Now don't hurt your glasses there. Good. I practiced without somebody with glasses, so easy. That was awesome. I've been wanting to do that to somebody for about 6 years. All right. So essential fatty acids. Okay. Next one is no sugar. Okay. Now I know this is hard, but when I'm the research specialist for living to 100. So the longevity diet, longevity lifestyle. Do you know what you notice in every single place where people live to 100 without disease, without cancer? There's like Village Commons. They have no cancer whatsoever in their society. None. But you go there, guess what you find? There's no sugar. They also don't have like cleaning products. They live very natural lives. You can't just go to Walmart and go get stuff. There's not like air conditioning. There's not like plastics. There's just none of this stuff. But there's no sugar. Do you hear what I'm saying? No, the only sugar they get is like berries and natural stuff. Nothing refined. Sugar feeds cancer. If you look at this, it talks about PET scans. Raise your hand if you've heard about a PET scan. You've heard PET scan before, but you didn't necessarily know what it was. I had a lady named Janie come into the office. One of my favorite patients of all time. Great lady. She was diagnosed with cancer, comes in. And basically one of the ways that they find cancer is that they actually use sugar to do it, because cancer feeds off of what? Sugar. So what they do is they take sugar and they attach a radioisotope to it. So it's radioactive. And then they put it in, what are we doing? Thank you. That's my wife. Everybody give her a big round of applause there. Making sure daddy's okay. But they put it in your body, in your veins, and the cancer takes up the sugar before anything else. It feeds on sugar, and they use that to find it. So this cancer right here was found because it took up the sugar. This cancer in the brain found because it took up the sugar. This cancer in the spine found because it took up the sugar. So and now everybody should know, listen, you make cancer every single day. So when you eat sugar, whether it's a vacation meal or not, guess what you're deciding to do to cancer? Feed it. Feed it. You can either be a cancer killer or you can be a cancer builder. And if you're eating sugar, you're a what? You're a builder, a feeder. Exactly right. Okay? So PET scans. Now lights, I want you guys to see this one. If you guys watch Dr. Oz, he just recently went on record saying that you should eat 2 baby aspirins a day instead of 1, so they're good for you. So I don't agree with everything he says. But I think this is a good instance of sugar.
So I want to test Dr. Davis's theory. I got to say, when I read these books, I'm startled sometimes that this stuff has not permeated through the fabric of medicine. This whole concept that whole wheat bread will increase blood sugar to a level higher than a candy bar. That was one of the things you said in the book. So we have a medical unit. We decided to do the experiment for all of us. It hasn't been done before that I'm aware of. We took blood sugar levels in 5 women. Here are these 5 women. Here they are eating their bread. That's whole grain bread, what I recommend. We took their blood sugars. And then once we got their numbers this day, we compared it to the next day's experiment, which was we gave them candy bars 24 hours later. After they enjoyed the candy bars a lot. Then we took their blood sugar again, and when we compared the blood sugar results of the 2 days, again, 5 women after having had whole grain, whole wheat bread, and then the next day, those same 5 women after having had the candy bars, the results were shocking. 3 out of the 5 women had a higher blood sugar spike from the whole wheat bread than the candy bar. Amazing, isn't it? The Natasha and Dieta's blood sugar spike was 2 times higher from the whole wheat bread than the candy bar.
So you go, wait a second, but I don't eat that much sugar. Yeah, but you had a Subway. Oh, I don't eat that much sugar. You had a whole organic, sprouted grain, whole wheat piece of toast with your eggs this morning. I don't have much sugar. Oh, yes, you did. And the reason that you had that is because the bread that you eat now is not the bread we used to have. You can't even get it, basically. You can't get it at Sprouts. You can't get it at Whole Foods. You can't get it anywhere. Remember the old American song, Amber Waves of Grain? Remember that? Waves of grain are supposed to be 6-8 feet tall plants. That's why they wave in the wind. Everything you get now, even if it's organic, is 18-inch, high-yield, semi-dwarf, blah, 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 something or other that actually has a protein in it that bread used to not ever have. And do you know right now, if you actually eat a slice of bread, even though it turns to sugar, that you will eat 400 calories more that day just because you ate a slice of bread? because you don't have the satiety and you're more hungry all the time? Just because you ate a slice of bread that day, you'll have 400 more calories on average. You could be a lot more than that. And so don't tell me you don't eat sugar. You eat sugar, right? Do you see how that's important? Now what am I saying? I'm saying when it comes to diet and being a cancer killer, we want to stay away from sugar, we want to eat good fats, and you want to eat live foods.
Hey, this is Dr. Charles Majors, co-author of the best-selling book, Cancer Killers, The Cause is the Cure. And what I'm talking about today is what a lot of you don't want to talk about. A lot of you are still sitting in denial. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be you. What's going to be you? 1 out of every 3 people are getting cancer. 1 out of every 3 women, 1 out of every 2 men now are being diagnosed. We always think it's not going to be me. But if you think about it right now, think about it. Is somebody in your family been diagnosed? Is someone close to you been diagnosed? Do you have a friend, a family member? Do you know someone who's been diagnosed? There's not a person who's watching me right now in the hundreds and hundreds of offices all over the country and in Canada who hasn't been affected by cancer. Coming up is our biggest event of the year. It's our Cancer Killers Maximize Living Makeover. And by far, it is a life-changing event. In my case, some of you know this, some of you don't, I was diagnosed stage 4 cancer. It was spread to the brain. It was a bone marrow cancer. They told me I had weeks to live. I was in a wheelchair. I had a tube in my stomach, tube coming out of my head to survive. No hope, no cure. They wanted to do some chemotherapy, radiation, or surgery. I chose differently. A lot of you that read the book know what I said. I said, I know I was sick, and I knew you couldn't poison me back to health. That's where I was. I needed to figure out how to get healthy. And a lot of you sitting there saying, well, I don't smoke, and I don't drink. I don't eat really that bad. My kids don't do that. Listen, if just eating bad caused cancer, most people would have cancer. If eating sugar just caused cancer, most people would have cancer. There are so many underlying causes of cancer that you have no idea is going on in your body right now. And in my case, I was eating well. I was exercising. There was probably no one, probably in the top 5-10% of the world I ate better than. I exercised more than anyone did. I had the right mindset. How did I still end up getting this cancer? Because there are other causes of cancer. And in my case, after running blood works and doing all types of urine challenge testing and toxicity challenge testing, we find benzene, we find other toxins that were in my blood. I had no idea what were going on that were creating cancers. I had a viral exposure of Epstein-Barr, cytomegalo, didn't know what was going on. Cancer is a multi-system, multifactorial failure. How is your liver working right now? Is it working at 100%? Is it detoxing you perfectly? How are your hormones? Because hormone cancers are one of the fastest rising cancers right now in the world. How is your estrogen versus your progesterone ratio right now? How are your adrenals doing? How's your thyroid doing? You have no idea. That's what this upcoming event is all about. We have to teach you not only how to get yourself and keep yourself healthy, we need to teach you about what the other causes are. We need to make you cancer killers every single day of your life, make your kids cancer killers every day of your life, and everyone you know, we want to turn you into a cancer killer. So this next clip you're going to see is me speaking, doing Cancer Killers in Green Bay, Wisconsin. This was one of the #1 cancer killers of the year last year. And so I want you to watch this, pay attention. It's going to get you motivated and inspired so you don't want to miss the upcoming event.
Now, in my case, I didn't have time to stop making it. Would you guys agree? I had to kill this stuff. I had to get rid of it. It was crushing my brainstem. I had weeks to live. It would have got big enough and crushed me. I would have been dead. So I had to kill it. Now, I chose to go the other route. I left the hospital then. I flew, and it's all in my book, I flew to Reno, Nevada to do high-end protocols, natural IV vitamin C's, things that Dr. Flynn does, natural IV vitamin C's. I was doing IV poly MVAs, H2O2, immune supports, everything, because I had to bring that tumor load down so I could now buy time to do what? Get to what? Now I had time to buy to get to the cause. So in some cases, absolutely, you have to get to this level. Some of you may need surgery. It happens. I have a patient whose prostate is so much cancer, it's spreading out the body, but he's may have to go in and do a little bit of some surgery to bring some of that tumor load down because you can't get control of it, and his immune system can't work. Because if you have a tumor that's so big and the immune system is always over here fighting it, sometimes, as long as you understand that when you do surgery, that when you do these things, it's never getting to the cause. It's never getting to the cause. As long as you understand that, if you're going to do chemotherapy, radiation, surgery, I'm not against that. It's your choice. You've got to make sure you protect yourself because chemotherapy kills fast, rapidly growing cells. The problem is the fastest, rapidly growing your cells of your body are not just your hair, they're your gut. They're your gut. You get a new colon lining every 24 hours. And where's 80% of your immunity at least? In your gut. So now you have no immune system left. Then your bone marrow gets destroyed, the rest of your immunity. So you got to protect your body, protect your body. So we got to go through protecting you if that's your decision. So we got to kill the cancer. How do we do it naturally? One way is, we talked about it, what's cancer's preferred fuel source? Sugar. We know it's sugar. We know it's sugar. So let's begin to slow it. We can slow this down. I'm not saying not eating sugar is going to reverse your cancer. That's not what I'm saying here. But will it slow it down? Absolutely, it'll slow it down. So we starve it. How do we starve it? One of the ways we begin to starve it is through anti-angiogenic stuff. Angiogenesis is a blood supply. It's an easy way to put it. When cancer cell gets its own blood supply, it begins to be fed faster. It begins to have the ability to spread throughout your body. It's called angiogenesis. And God, in his wisdom, created so many foods and so many substances that are anti-angiogenic. That when you're juicing, the reason why Gerson therapy works so well is they're juicing 8 times a day. Well, guess what the majority of things they're juicing are? Anti-angiogenic. They're juicing anti-angiogenic. Green tea, anti-angiogenic. Most of your berries, anti-angiogenic. Right? These are anti-angiogenic things. So the more anti-angiogenic we're doing, certain supplements, shark cartilage is anti-angiogenic. C-statin is anti-angiogenic, right? You test, you don't guess. We run what's called a VEGF, which is called vascular endothelial growth factor. You really want to know if your cancer is spreading fast enough? Because the doctors won't tell you until it's too late. You check the blood supply. How fast is it growing? And then if it's growing really fast, you know you got to get on this even more. So we don't test like he says, we don't guess. We got to test this to know what's going on in my body. What else? Ketogenic diet. That's what I've been on for almost 5 years. They say you can't be on it very long. That's because they're not doing it right. We know that, and I love ketogenic. It depends on what cancer. Not all cancers can be on ketogenic. Not all cancers can be on this diet, so be careful. My type of cancer is very good with this type of diet. Ketogenic it's a natural survival mechanism of the body. If I told you right now that you could not eat for 40 days, what happens? Do you all die? Some of you may, because you're very, very, very skinny and there's not much to eat. But some of you can live, 6 months. You're the same person who has like 140 trillion cells. No. Because what happens is, when you go into, God created this, when you're starving, your cells have to have fuel for energy, for you to survive, to work, to function, do everything they need to do. So your cells say, listen, there's nothing coming in right now. There's no sugars. What does it want? Even your cells want sugar. So what it does is the cells then have to tell the liver to begin to break down your fat to produce what's called ketone bodies. And ketone bodies are one of the best fuel sources your cells can use. It's one of the best fuels you could ever use. What's amazing about ketone bodies in research and in science is when they take a cancer cell and try and give it a ketone body, it dies. Because their mitochondria is damaged, remember? Their mitochondria is damaged. The only thing they know how to bring in for fuel is what? Is sugar. When your body's in ketosis, there's no sugar at all in your blood, and your blood sugar is low in the 70s or 80s, and you're getting to full real ketosis. That means your body's producing ketones all day long. Your normal healthy cells are like, I don't care, I love ketones. But what are your cancer cells doing? They're beginning to die. Especially the brain. The number one diet with brain cancers is ketogenic, because the brain is always uptaking what? Sugar, 24 hours. It's very hard, very, very, very hard to reverse. But when you give a brain cancer patient and put them on a true ketogenic diet. That means we're measuring it, and you have a glucose meter and ketone meters, and truly measuring your ketone levels to really know you're in ketosis, right? For me, if I eat too much meat in one serving, I go out of ketosis. That's how tricky ketosis is. Because I'm on a ketogenic diet. No, you're not. Not unless you're monitoring it. Not unless you're what? Not unless you're testing instead of guessing. You don't know you're in ketosis or not. So I put myself in ketosis. I've been there almost 5 years. I'm in and out now. I couldn't even eat fruit. And when you're in ketogenic, there's not even fruit. I thought fruit was good for you. Fruit sugar doesn't feed cancer, just so you know that. But fruit sugar raises inflammatory reactions. If somebody's diabetic and they have a lot of fruit, no. So does fruit raise insulin levels? So if anybody's arguing with you, now, fruit sugar is a left spin molecule, which means it cannot be absorbed by a cancer cell. So you don't worry if you're eating fruit and you have cancer, it's not feeding it, it's creating an inflammatory. The cause of every disease process in the world begins with what? Inflammation. So for me, that's where I was, is I cut out. Now I can have little pieces of fruit here and there. It's been 5 years. It doesn't throw me out of ketosis. I always say, I was on a phone with a patient, I said, I think I could have a hot fudge sundae. I don't think it'll throw me out of ketosis. I've been in it for so long. I don't take the chance, though. But once you get into ketosis and you've been there long enough, it's pretty easy to stay there. So being ketogenic is so powerful. And then when you mix with brain cancers and we mix a ketogenic diet with a hyperbaric oxygen chamber, remember, cancer cannot use oxygen. And so you give it oxygen and you give it ketone bodies and it begins to die quickly. So there's some amazing things out there for different cancers that are powerful. Hyperthermia, I'm going to go through some of these things. So these are high-end treatments. I love poly-MVA. This helps go in, changes the mitochondrial level of the cells, of your cancer cells. Hyperthermia, I love heat treatments. When I was in Spain, they would heat up the cancer in there. Now it's tough with a bone marrow cancer to heat up specifically because it wasn't in my pancreas, right? It wasn't in, now I had obviously the cancer in the brain, they would heat that up. Cancer cells have what's called heat shock proteins, and they don't like heat at all. They don't like it. That's why somebody who has a thyroid issue is more likely to get a cancer, because guess what? Your temperature of your body is what? Is lower. That's why we test, not guess what your thyroid's doing. You go, well, I'm taking Synthroid, I'm taking levothyroxine. That's T4. You probably still have a very low metabolism and thyroid issue. It doesn't do much. The point is that heat is amazing. That when your child wakes up with a fever, that you should be so glad they have a fever, because their body's actually killing what? It's actually killing cancer. It's killing viruses. It's killing bacteria. Normal, healthy cells have no problem with heat, even at high heats. Obviously, all you have to do is search PubMed, search all of the research right now. Every science and every medical study will show you, unless it gets way too hot, you may drop it down. But we're talking very, very, very hot. The body can handle heat. Trust me. I go into, and I was for days, I would go 5, sometimes 6 days a week in an infrared sauna because I needed to heat up all my blood. And I would be at 150, 160 degrees. Before I got in there, I'd been there an hour and a half. Before I got in there, I would do cayenne pepper, if anybody had it. I would do high doses of niacin. I would be burning up. I wanted to die. My body was so hot, you could measure my temperature. And I'd have to stay in that for an hour and a half. And sometimes I didn't make it. My wife would be in there with me, and I'm out. I can't do this anymore. I was burning and itching. What happens, though, is when you heat the body up, you begin heating all the blood up. And when you heat all the blood up, not only does the immune system stimulate, your body detoxes faster, and cancer can't live as long. Pretty cool. So we know that cancer has some Achilles heels. Why don't we use those? Why don't we use those?
So for more information, to find out more videos like you're watching here, go to www.maximizeliving.com.
So again, if you have your cancer killer book, don't do it now. But again, I call it page 98 living. What does my wife and I do? What does Dr. Majors do? I call it page 98 living. And when you look on page 98 of your book, you're going to see what Dr. Majors does on a daily basis, right? Now, what he does to kill cancer may not be what you do to kill cancer. Again, everybody's a combination lock, right? We need to find out what you need and test to kill cancer, to get healthy, to go from brown grass to green grass. But what it may look like for you, okay, is the don't get it plan. Do I have it on? I don't have it on here. But again, You follow the Pace 98 living. You get up. You do your power shake. You get your workout in. That day, if it's your turn, you get adjusted. You do your home exercises. You work on your stress levels. You work on your life. You set your goals. You tell yourself every day is going to be a good day. You begin doing the 5 essentials, going from brown grass to green grass, and you do it every day. Okay? If you live in Colorado or Arizona, how often do you water your grass? Every day. Because if you don't, what happens to it? Same thing with your body. Same thing with your body. And so, here's the good news. Watch this video and we'll wrap things up.
Now look around, isn't this a new day? Make a move, doing things a new way. A new way. 'Cause this is our world, and this is our time. These are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming. Look ahead, we can see forever. You and me doing it together. Light it up, we can be a million stars. Look at us, don't you see we've come so far? Yeah, we've come so far. 'Cause this is our world, and this is our time, and these are our plans. We're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming. Standing at the crossroads, feeling how the wind blows. We can soar above the clouds. Every moment is a heartbeat, and every breath feeling so sweet. And who can say what happens now? 'Cause this is our world, this is our time. These are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming. This is our world, and this is our time. And these are our plans, we're gonna let them shine. This is our place in the human race, and we won't stop dreaming. No, we won't stop dreaming. We won't stop dreaming.
So, we've got enough videos. We've got enough testimonies. We don't need any more cancer stories. We need stories about how we found out through our x-ray that our nervous system was being shut down, and by the grace of God, we got things turned around. We got our family turned around, and now we're a green grass family. We're a green grass individual. That's what I really want to do, is see stories of green grass. We have enough suffering. Every 19 seconds, someone's told they have cancer. That's enough. Let's get it to every 5 minutes. Let's get it to every day. Let's get it to once a month, okay? You don't see what's happening to you. And again, we live in a society where we think it's not going to happen to us, and it does. And yet there's hope. There's hope. I don't know what's going on in your life right now, but I want to help you. I want to be your doctor to help you get green grass. And if you live out in Kansas, we'll find you a doctor in Kansas or wherever.